Here we go. She's on 5 to 7, 9 to 10 p.m. Fallback Productions. Talks about topics of the day and loves her country, the U.S. of A. Got her Get Right rally on tax day. Got family country Trump is her thing. She don't know the songs, gives Dave a hard time. Don't worry, it's fine, he's still her Valentine. Keeps us in the loop. Don't you know, sit back and enjoy the Lucretia Hughes Show.
Senator Jane Block proposing a Department of Government Efficiency office in New Mexico, now referred to as DOGE.
I believe in transparency in government.
This all in efforts to get rid of what he says is fraud, waste, and abuse at the state level.
Taxpayers have an absolute right to know where their money's going. I believe that they should have confidence that government is good stewards of their money. And if it's not, let's identify it and let's fix the problem. This is a continual process of digging deep into our finances as a state to report back to the taxpayers so we can assure our taxpayers that their money is being spent appropriately.
If it passes, the bill will create the Government Accountability to Taxpayer Office, providing duties and powers of the Executive Director and Office.
It would be under the governor. The governor would appoint the members of this office to go out and look across the entire spectrum of state government.
President Donald Trump and Elon Musk pushing their own mission of government efficiency through an executive order last month to cut down on federal spending.
That's our taxpayer dollars that could be used for healthcare, it could be used for infrastructure.
Block having this to say when asked if he believes it could reach the governor's desk by end of session.
Absolutely not. We as Republicans, we just tried to do an amendment on a campaign finance bill that was shot down by every Democrat in the Senate but one.
But tells us he will try again.
You gotta fight the system.
Itibuanu, KOAT, Action 7 News.
We reached out to Senate Democrats. They declined.
Well, welcome back, everybody. As I was getting off, I just got to figure this out right quick because this is tripping me out. But Jay Block actually called 2 minutes after the show in. So Michelle Grisham is the governor of New Mexico. So as you know, session is in across the United States. I mean, your state legislators should be in session right now. Tax budgets, bills, amendments, everything. So I can understand why Mr. Block said that, he was busy, just like Mazzy was, because these are some very heavy times in people's states. So Mr. J. Block, he called me 2 minutes after we ended the show. He said, "Am I too late for the show?" Well, sir, I haven't even got up off my seat. I'm still sitting here. If you want to go, we could do a live special because I'm sure a lot of people would like to know what's going on in New Mexico and about the Doge at the state level. Well, he has presented a bill. So I just wanted to read a little bit because he sent that to us a while ago because they asked him about Doge being at the state level. Republican state senator proposed Doge office in New Mexico. It says Santa Fe, New Mexico, Republican State Senator Jay Block is proposing a Department of Government Efficiency office in New Mexico. Now, you know the Democrats ain't going for this. Also referred to as Doge, Senate Bill 484 will create the Government Accountability to Taxpayer Office, or GATO, as a adjunct agency. If it passed, it will provide duties and powers of the executive director and the office. It says KOAT spoke to Block on Monday. It says when he reached out, he wanted all of this. On Monday, Governor Michelle Grisham announced statewide support for laid off federal workers. The New Mexico Department of Workforce Solutions, in partnership with the State Personnel Office and Economic Department, is launching a comprehensive support initiative. So basically, and I'm making sure this is not, okay, I didn't want to read nothing from Grisham. It says, this is what Senator Block said. "I believe in transparency and government. I believe in taxpayers having the absolute right to know where their money is going, and I believe that they should have the confidence that government is good steward of their money. And if it's not, let's identify it and fix the problem. Where else are the taxpayers are being stolen, or taxpayer dollars are being stolen? Where else are they being wasted? Where else were they being abused? And where else is there fraud?" Okay, and Jay said he is getting on right now, Dave. We have some oversight offices here in Santa Fe with a state auditor, but this is looking at everything. I mean, everything. This isn't like something that comes up to the state auditor to investigate. It would be under the governor. The governor would appoint the members of this office to go out and look across the entire spectrum of state government. This is a continual process of digging deep into our finances as the state to report back to taxpayers so we can assure our taxpayers that their money is being spent appropriately through the government. This is how I feel about it. I think that there should be a Doge in every state government. Now, I know in the state of Georgia, we have a Georgia state constitution. And one of the things in Georgia is that they must abide inside of a balanced budget. There's no ifs, ands, or buts when it comes to the Constitution inside of the state of Georgia. Every state politician, every state representative, and every state senator inside of Georgia know that you start funny business with our money, you're going to be held accountable, because we do have a Georgia state constitution, which plainly states that you can only work inside of the confound and the budget that is in the state government. But we know that there's a lot of states around the United States that isn't abiding by a budget or have a balanced budget. We can take California as being one of the problem children when they have the fifth largest, most powerful economy, not in the United States, but the world, and they don't have a balanced budget. So, Dave, when you size up Senator Block, please bring him on, because for him to get interviewed and him trying to bring this bill,
I got a picture ready. I don't see him on the camera.
Okay, Mr. Block, Dave said we're gonna need your camera to be turned on because I see you're in the waiting room, and Dave said he has a picture of you, but we would love to see your handsome face on the interview, but we're gonna let you figure that out. So when he's ready. So welcome back, everybody. Like I said, it was conservative rebuttal. Welcome back, everybody. It's me, Conservative Rebuttal, and Tracy so far on Lucretia Hughes' page. Now, Lucretia Hughes, I don't know what's going on, and I'm not going to argue with Facebook, but I really want to see because I'm hearing state representatives, state senators from different states that we're interviewing that is asking for a Doge inside of each state in the United States. And to me, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea for the constituents of any state to know exactly where their money is spent and that it's not spent frivolously. So I don't see a problem with holding our elected officials to the carpet about where our taxpayer dollars are actually going. So do you have them?
Let's see.
Hey there, he's getting ready to come back in. I have no idea. Do you see the one that
Yep, hold on. I gotta pull out of this one and go to a different one here. So
okay,
stand by.
I can keep talking. No issues, no problems, because I really want to know, how do you feel about Doge being in every state in our union? Because I think we actually need it. Hey, Martax, welcome back. Elon suggests getting rid of property taxes and a 30% rebate to all taxpayers of $5,000 to $8,000 each. Hey there, I see you now. I really see you now, right, Dave?
Let me get rid of this picture.
Okay. When you're ready to bring him on, please do, because I see him. Hey, I agree. I would just like our money back.
Here we go.
All right. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you? So nice to meet you, and thank you for having me on your show. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you so much. Like I said, told everybody, you are a state senator from New Mexico, and right now session is in across the United States. So a lot of our politicians, our state representatives, our state senators are really at trying to get the business of their constituents and their state passed. But your governor is Gresham. So my stepdad used to always say, you're knocking your head up against a brick wall. Even though you're trying to do the right thing for the constituents of New Mexico, and you're pretty much, if you get it passed and get your bill passed, you will be the first state in the United States to have a Doge office in there to make sure that the state taxes are accountable. What made you actually want to have a Doge department in Santa Fe or in New Mexico?
Well, a couple things. Obviously, seeing just less than a month with Doge, close to $60 billion of our tax dollars being wasted that could have been used to help our own people that are suffering here in our country after 4 years of just a brutal economy with inflation and everything. It may not seem like a lot of money, but $55 billion is a lot of money in a short amount of time, and we haven't even gone to the Pentagon yet. So that's going to be big. The other piece is here in New Mexico, there's been a lot of corruption here. We put together on the Senate Republican side some amendments for transparency. We were asking where every single member gets their money from. How many members here have contracts with the state? And we were shut down. We've had a representative named Cheryl Stapleton steal millions of dollars of state money. She was arrested. We've had the previous governor, a Republican, Susana Martinez, hand out a lot of money in secret payouts. So, we do have a state auditor, but this particular, the capability of our government accountability, and I call it transparency office, really uses technology to look throughout the entire state government using AI and some other tools. All we're looking for is about a 5 or 6 person team here to work for the governor, even though she's a Democrat, work for the governor and start doing a lot of coding, a lot of AI. We need financial people. We need a software engineer, contracts person as well. I mean, we don't need many people, 5 to 7 total, to really look across state government at the university level. I mean, everywhere to find fraud, waste, and abuse. I'm a retired Air Force officer, and
I
one of the
know.
things we prided ourselves on in the Air Force was making sure we didn't have any fraud, waste, or abuse. And I think taxpayers deserve to know if their state government, local government, municipal government, any government is good stewards of their taxpayer money. Quite frankly, I think the answer is no. So we need to do this.
Now I'm finna switch because Stan told me who you were. So everybody, he is a lieutenant colonel. Okay, don't let that title slip by, because thank you for your service, sir. But Stan said you know a lot about nukes. And one of the things that's really on our timeline this week is Zelensky asking for nuclear warheads to be sent to Ukraine. But then today it came out that President Trump pretty much made a deal with him that we get some of his natural resources. Do you think, being a lieutenant governor, being a lieutenant colonel, do you think they deserve nuclear warheads?
No. And I've been a nuclear officer my whole time in the Air Force. I'm retired now, but I still carry a clearance, and I'm a consultant in private industry when I'm not moonlighting as a politician over here. So what I'll tell you is that we have very strict protocols on nuclear surety, nuclear security, and a lot of fail-safes in there. I was an ICBM launch officer. I was also a commander over in Europe for the, I'll say, nuclear capable units with our NATO partners. So we don't just give nuclear weapons to countries. We have something called extended deterrence. There's a reason why Germany, Japan, South Korea, there's a reason why those countries don't develop nuclear capabilities, and they can, but they come under our nuclear deterrence, extended deterrence umbrella. So turning over nuclear weapons, tactical, to Ukraine, it would be the dumbest move we could ever do for policy. And I don't think the president would ever do that, because we need to keep custodial. We need to stay as the custodian of any weapons we may have with our partners. We need to keep control of them until a valid and authentic order is given from the president to the nuclear forces to execute a specific nuclear mission. And that's the very high level view.
Now you mentioned Japan and you mentioned South Korea. We know Kim Jong Un, or whatever you want to call him. I call him Little Rocket Man. Okay, Little Rocket Man is starting to launch missiles again. I don't know if it's a scare tactic or not. But then you also have the Armada that is over there circling around Japan. How do we stop that if Japan is waiting on us to defend them, but you have China right over there and that is circling them and doing so many military exercises? Do you think that could lead up into a whole nother potential problem with the United States getting into war?
I firmly believe with President Trump in office that we are safer today than we were just a month ago under 4 years of Joe Biden. President Trump understands implicitly what deterrence is. He understands what nuclear deterrence is. He also understands what building relationships is. So I have confidence in this president with his staff, his Secretary of State, that we will not be going to war with China or North Korea or Russia. I think President Trump is going to work very hard with Putin and Zelensky to come up with some type of peace treaty that I hope is respected by both sides, because Russia is the aggressor. Russia violated the treaty with Ukraine when Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapons, and Russia said in 1994 would never attack Ukraine. So we have to understand Putin can never be trusted. We have to understand that China is aggressive, and we also have to build up our nuclear forces because number one, they're old. We're going through some upgrades. We have to scrap New START, which I hope we are, which limits our deployed nuclear weapons to roughly about 1,550. But we also have to understand that China is ramping up its nuclear weapons capabilities, and that can really put the United States at a disadvantage potentially.
Well, now back to New Mexico because it is close to the border. Oh, my mind jumps this way. It jumps from topic to topic. Speaking of a war, because you are on the border, what are you seeing when it comes to the illegals flooding across the border? I know they're saying that it's pretty much zeroed or very low now compared to the last 4 years, where they're saying 21 to 25 million illegals came across the southern border. Some of the people that I've been talking to they're saying like Texas and New Mexico and all of the southern states that borders New Mexico, they have a lot of drug problems. Not only a lot of drug problems, a lot of trafficking problems, a lot of mule problems. What do you see to stop that with the ones that are already in your state? Because you're going to get pushback from Democrats when you're trying to get rid of these illegals. What do you want to see done?
Well, even, here's where we're at in New Mexico. Albuquerque is it was rated one of the most dangerous cities in the world. I think we were like the 23rd most dangerous city in the world, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Wow. So let that sink in for a minute. Let also sink in that the FBI rated New Mexico as the most dangerous state in the country as well. So just keep those two data points there. We don't have bail here. New Mexico has no bail. New Mexico is very weak on crime. Now at the session, the Democrats are trying to pass a bill with our support to move the ball forward a little bit. And we've offered numerous amendments just last week on a crime bill, and every one of them was shot down in regards to swatting, stash houses, expanded accountability for juveniles, stiffer penalties on fentanyl, and everything was shot down by the Democrats here. Here in New Mexico, and I say this, every single state is a border state because they come through here and they go out throughout our country. And the number one killer of Americans between 18 and 44 is fentanyl. Now, thankfully, the president has closed down the border. But here in a blue state, we have a governor that refuses to work with the president and federal authorities to keep our people safe. That's a problem.
But that's her oath, sir, Senator Block. That's her oath that she stood up there and she swore that she was going to protect, New Mexico people from foreign and domestic enemies. Y'all don't have a bond? You mean you could go hurt somebody and they could just get out the same day?
We have no bail in New Mexico. So all these minor crimes or even assault, I've talked to police officers and I've gotten endorsements from police officers around the state. I talked to one in Rio Rancho, my hometown, right next to Albuquerque. He arrested a person, went to the Sandoval County Detention Center and processed that prisoner, and that criminal, I should say, ended up getting out of jail before the officer finished the paperwork. And later on that shift, that same officer arrested that same person. So, we have a huge problem here in New Mexico because we're the worst in the nation in education. We're the worst in the nation in child welfare being. We're the most dangerous state. We have an open border. I don't think we have an open border anymore, but the cartels are here. They're doing incredible damage to our people. We are one of the highest poverty states here in New Mexico as well. And this state has decided to go uber progressive instead of uber common sense to protect New Mexicans from the violence that we are used to every single day.
Are you worried when you leave out of your office that somebody might be, because, you said that you've been getting threats. Are you worried? And I know you can fight, okay? I know you can fight, but you're a senator. You should have some kind of more protection. Now that, you say they don't have bail. That is so mind-blowing to me. I live in Georgia. We got bail for everything. But are you worried that you won't have any protection being a state senator coming out just doing your job?
Well, before this, I was a county commissioner for 8 years in the Albuquerque metro area, Sandoval County. And I had death threats there as well. One interesting one from, the supposedly peaceful Sierra Club, an environmentalist group, when we were, looking at oil and gas for an ordinance in Sandoval County. They put my picture and another picture of one or two other county commissioners, and they put a target on our face on Facebook and said, poison them. So that was one. Recently, with this New Mexico Doge type bill I dropped, I've been getting a lot of press out here lately. We've had to call the Capitol Police on 2 death threats, one yesterday and another one today that the police will be notified of shortly out here. So, it's one of those things where it goes with the territory. And, I just wish these people would have listened to mom and dad a little bit better, how you treat everybody. But, there's crazies in this world. I get that. I mean, we saw what happened with President Trump, and we see it with, the riots in the street, during COVID, during the George Floyd things, the violence even on January 6th. We just, that's not American. We should be able to debate respectfully. I was an ex-athlete, growing up. You leave it all on the field and you shake hands after. That's the way it should be.
What is your gun laws out there? How stiff are they? Or do you have constitutional carry? Because it sounds like you're in the wild, wild west.
I would say let me put it this way. The criminals have constitutional carry. The law-abiding citizens don't. The criminals are going to carry weapons no matter what. Vermont, I grew up in New Hampshire. Vermont, the home state of Bernie Sanders, they have constitutional carry in Vermont. We do not have it here in New Mexico. We just passed, I didn't support this. Last year, they passed, or the year before, a 7-day waiting period. We already have a red flag law on the books. We have some other incredibly anti-Second Amendment bills coming down that we're going to hopefully kill here. So the governor, too, if you look it up last year, she's also banned weapons in certain areas of Albuquerque, which was shot down in the courts. In fact, in Albuquerque, it's in Bernalillo County. Even the Bernalillo County Sheriff, a Democrat, and the Attorney General, a Democrat, pushed back on the governor's unconstitutional mandate on the Second Amendment. So what I'm saying, bottom line is they love infringing on the Second Amendment for law-abiding citizens, but they don't do jack squat when it comes to keeping guns out of the hands of criminals and violent people.
So what is the odds? I mean, what is the numbers from Republicans to Democrat in the Senate and in the House? Is there a close call at all, or they just running rumshod any bills that they want to pass?
So in the Senate, there's 42 senators, and we have 16 Republicans. We had 15 up until my election. I flipped a seat, so we have 16 now to 26. And in the House, I think there's 70, and it's like 45-25, or something ridiculous. So it's almost super majoritied out. We have the governor a Democrat, we have the Attorney General a Democrat, the Secretary of State a Democrat. It's kind of like reminds me of my cousin Vinny there. My father's a mechanic, my father's brother's a mechanic. His sons are mechanics. It's pretty bad here.
What do you really want to see? And I'm just going to look for you, not in the state, but for you as a man, military, security, knowing your stuff. What do you want to see really changed out there in New Mexico?
Well, I'd like to see drugs off the street. I'd like to see crime just completely eliminated. I'd like to see great schools where businesses are going to want to come to New Mexico. I'd like to see our medical malpractice laws overturned here, because we've lost over 700 doctors in the past 3 years because trial lawyers have destroyed healthcare here in New Mexico. We have a lot of rural areas, a lot of tribal areas that can't get health care, but the trial lawyers are getting real rich. In fact, it was so bad, the governor had to leave the state to get surgery, knee surgery, I think, here. So I'd like to see that. I'd like to see the anti-business taxes gone. I'd like to see our law enforcement work with the feds to get these dangerous illegals off the street that are here illegally, that broke a law when they crossed the border. I think that's a good start.
That's pretty much getting back to the Constitution. I mean, you have a police in your state, but they're handcuffed by their own handcuffs. And then I remember when your Governor Grisham disappeared for a couple of days. And she didn't really tell anybody that she was going to get surgery. When I told y'all, y'all make news in Georgia. Y'all make. I did not know that you was the lowest of the low when it comes to different things like education, the gun laws, and everything like that. Do you see within the next decade even that changing at all? Do you think the constituents and the citizens of New Mexico, no matter if it's sparsely populated or not, do you think you're ever going to have another Republican or a supermajority in New Mexico?
Well, first of all, New Mexico is at the top of every bad list, and at the bottom of every good list. We've had Democrat control here for 90 years.
Whoa.
And you see where we're at. Huge issues here.
Then what they hating on you for? They can't hate on you because Republicans is never held power. So you getting phone calls, you're getting death threats. What they hating on you for? It's all their fault. The Democrats should never be able to say anything negative about a Republican because a Republican isn't in power to destroy New Mexico, and they still doing it.
Yeah, I don't think we've had a Republican majority in the Senate since the 1920s, maybe the 30s. We had 2 years of Republican control in the House from 2014 to 2016. We did have a Republican governor from 2010 to 2018, but we've never controlled all three branches. In fact, all 5 Supreme Court justices here are Democrats. They're all progressives. So, we're living behind the Iron Curtain, so to speak, and we got Texas right there. It's a free state. But, we got some great people in the Senate, great people in the House fighting. We had some great people, running for statewide office to try to change things, or Congress. And it's kind of funny because in New Mexico, we're a little bit behind the data of what I've seen. Now, President Trump only lost this by 5 points, wow, which was incredible because he lost it by 11 back in 2020 and lost it by, I think, 8 in 2016. So I think we're making some progress. What we need here in New Mexico is kind of like the Scott Pressler model of what Scott did in Pennsylvania, which was just amazing. We need that here. Listen, this is a marathon. This is going to take a long time to turn New Mexico around. You would think I thought for like we got to be at rock bottom now. Things have got to change. Nope, not at all. Nope. Well, we're at rock bottom now. It's got to change. Nope, not yet. Well, we're last in education. We got to change. Nope. Most dangerous state in the country. Got to change now. Nope. So, we see Hispanics coming over to the Republican Party, and Trump winning them over big time in 2024 and building on what he had in 2020 and 2016. And, we see that in Arizona, and we see it in Texas and Florida with the Latinos. But here in New Mexico, we're just a little bit behind, but we're getting there. I got faith in these people. I got a lot of faith in New Mexico.
So what do you think it's going to take? I mean, what do you think it's going to take for people to just say enough is enough?
Well, you're going to have to ask them. I mean, we can only message, all the facts, and they have to decide when they've had enough. I've had enough, but the majority of people here in New Mexico haven't had enough. It's they apparently they're okay with the crime rate. They just hate Republicans. They hate Trump. And there's a lot of, generational Democrats. My parents are Democrats. My grandparents are Democrats. So I'm a Democrat. The tribal nations here have just been decimated. Yes. There's so many issues on the tribes that we would like to fix. But, we just haven't been able to crack that nut yet here in New Mexico. I hope someday we can get back to, Pete Domenicis or my friend Gary Johnson, who was the last great governor here from 1994 to 2002. We had Heather Wilson as a congresswoman in the first congressional district, which is basically Albuquerque. We had Yvette Harrell down in the second district for a term, and Steve Pierce down there for a long time before that. So we had moderate and conservative Democrats in the Senate with Jeff Bigeman before, and now it's just gone like insane people. I mean, we got two senators who voted, and three Congress people have voted against deporting illegals back that committed sexual assault or violent crime.
You got a question? You got a question. Ask him if he can stage a statewide boycott for everyone to walk off their job and go stand in front of the Capitol or their elected officials' offices until they change the law. How do you think that would work?
Well, first of all, in my opinion, the people that have a job, they want to keep working. They're conservative people. All the radical activists that we see, many of them just seem to have the time. I don't know where they get the time to come and demonstrate. So, we have a lot of grassroots organizations around the state that do that are fantastic. One of them is Better Together New Mexico, and so many other organizations I'm sorry not to mention. I don't want to leave anybody out, but we have a great grassroots movement here across New Mexico, and we just got to integrate them and get them together.
Well, you do know, with you being in the military, heat actually causes attitudes, because that's why most jails are very, very cold. How about just turning off the sun? I mean...
Well, we don't have many people in jail because we don't arrest a lot of people. So the jail's got plenty of room. And I would even argue, when I talk to some of these police chiefs around the state in urban and rural areas, a lot of crime is not getting reported here, because what's the point when someone steals something in your yard or in your house? Why call the police? They're not, the police aren't going to find the guy. They're so busy with other stuff. And people are, the property crimes here are really very underreported, because people are trying to, steal something to sell it to buy their next fentanyl pill. It's just very sad what's going on here in New Mexico.
Do you have a lot of problems with human trafficking, especially on the
Oh, yeah.
reservations and coming across the border? What do you feel like you can do with that?
Well, we haven't done much with it, quite frankly. We need to obviously work with the feds and get some tough human trafficking laws. And actually, I think there's one coming that I should see here. I'm on the Senate Public Health and Senate Rules Committee. So I think I got to take a good look at the bill to see if it's a strong bill. But, here's my take on this, because I'm tired of this. I'm 54. I've been through enough crap in my life. I'm just tired. All drug dealers need to go away for life or even death, because every drug dealer, this fentanyl stuff, is killing people, and these drug dealers are murderers. It's that simple. So human traffickers, these are some of the most evil, vile people in the world. They need to be held accountable and go to jail for the rest of their life. We have to get serious and tough on crime. It has to be a deterrent. People today in New Mexico, they know there's no deterrent out there, so criminals get more and more aggressive.
So with the red flag law, because that's something that I'm going to always push back against, you can't even protect your homestead. If a criminal or someone busts into your door, who are they going to arrest first, the homeowner or the criminal?
Probably the homeowner. In fact, here in New Mexico, if you have a child, I believe it's 3 or 4 under that, that is, you have to have your weapon locked up. So, if someone breaks in your house, you have to tell them to stop. Let me go get my weapon, and then I can protect myself.
Oh, I'm so sorry your back is up against the wall, because I'm 50 and I done been through some shit. And I'm about like you. I'm just tired of seeing evil win. And do you ever see yourself ever moving to the free state of Texas just to get out of New Mexico?
I'm not going to quit on New Mexico.
Oh, look at you. You're a warrior.
I'm not going to quit on New Mexico. I love this state deeply. I love the history here, the topography. I love this state very much. I care deeply about its people, our history, our culture. I can't see myself leaving New Mexico to go to Texas or anywhere. I mean, unless I had to go take care of my dad back in New Hampshire or something like that. But this is home for me. I've lived in New Mexico longer than anywhere in my adult life because, I had 12 moves in like 21, 22 years in the Air Force, moving around the country, moving around the world. I've been to New Mexico several times in the Air Force for some nuclear classes. I retired out of Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico. This is by my two of my kids have graduated from high school here. This is home for me. I'm a New Mexican. I'm proud to be a New Mexican, and I'm not just gonna do the easy thing and just pick up my marbles and go somewhere else because I'm not happy.
Can you walk around strapped? I mean, can you have a protection on you since you don't have like security or police detail knowing that you're getting death threats? Can you protect yourself without being on the red flag law list?
Well, you can have open carry here in New Mexico, so you can do that. We just don't have constitutional carry, so you can open carry here.
Oh, well, I mean, well, there you go. It is the Wild Wild West. So I don't think you're going to get carjacked anytime soon. I mean, do you keep it on the outside of your pants?
I'll say
What?
I'm ready.
He said he
I'm
ready.
ready to take care of myself. I'll leave it at that.
What is the Sierra? 'Cause every time I think of the Sierra Club, I'm thinking about some gray hair grannies trying to save daffodils. Why are they threatening you? Why? I mean, seriously, because you're doing a great job. It's and what you're asking for isn't out there where you're not supposed to know where the money is going. Why do you think they are making death threats to you?
Well, the Sierra Club was a few years ago as a county commissioner when we were looking at an oil and gas ordinance, and everybody's everybody hits the crazy line, at different times. It's just that simple. Some, take a step and they're crazy. Others, it's a mile until they're crazy. So, some people get triggered very, very easy. I get that, but you gotta keep your emotions in check on that type of stuff, and definitely not advocate violence.
Now, with the and circle full circle, when it comes to Doge, and you said you need 5 to 7 people, who are they going to be elected positions, or are you going to allow the you got a Democrat governor, you just can't be allowing her to appoint anybody. Okay, are there
Well,
going to be some
listen,
qualifications?
that's the way the system works. The governor would appoint
Oh,
these people, and we would confirm them in the Senate. We are not going to I'm not going to support anything to skirt around that. That's the way it should be. We have checks and balances for a reason. We saw in the Biden administration the massive amounts of silencing Americans and
yes.
working with big tech to silence Americans. I won't support that at all. And if I see that under a Republican administration, we have to speak out about it. It's the Constitution first over party. But in regards to your question, that particular office belongs in the executive under the governor. And doesn't matter if I have disagreements with the governor or not. She's the one that has the authority to appoint members to that advisory group or board, whatever you want to call them, that office. And me in the Senate, it's my duty to confirm or not confirm the people she appoints.
Who is going to see the paperwork? So if she's going to appoint them, who is going to be the overseers of what they do and what they actually present? And will they be doing it for the Senate as a whole and the House of Representatives? And if you find a mistake or fraud or waste that they didn't report, where are the checks and balances in that?
Well, they're going to go across, there's some things we got to work out. I mean, this has to be a nonpartisan, non-political office that goes out and looks across the entire spectrum of state government for any fraud, waste, and abuse, and report it to the legislature and to the governor, so we can see what's going on and mitigate that or correct it, and go from there.
Okay, we got 3 minutes left, so I'm gonna thank you so much. Like I said, this is session is in, and you broke away after your session and after today just to come on the live. So I just want to say thank you. So I want to let you in the show. I want you to end this show. Let people know where they can find you if they got any questions, where they can reach out, and then just we're going to let you end it that way. And thank you so much, Senator Jay. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me, and best of luck down there in Georgia. I hope you get a couple of good U.S. senators coming up soon down there. And
You
if
heard
you
who's
want
running, right?
to,
You do know Brian Kemp is running for Ossoff seat, right?
I did not know that.
That's the secret. Well, it ain't a secret anymore.
It's out there now. But if they want to get in touch with me, they can go to the New Mexico Legislature page and get in touch with me. If you go to my website, which was blockforsenate.com, you can see my social media links there and get in touch with me. And I just want to thank you and all your listeners out there, and keep up the fight. Just because we have President Trump in office, that doesn't mean the fight's over. This is a constant battle here to make sure that we're preserving our freedoms for the next generation and making sure that our country remains free and remains strong. And we cannot go back to what we just went through for 4 years.
Well, you know what? In another 4 years, you can run for president. I tried. I tried. Okay, I tried. So everybody, I want to thank you so much for this special episode. Because like I said, there's the 3 hour difference in between, and he's a state senator. He has very important business to take care of. So again, if y'all get on over there and support Senator Jay Block over there in New Mexico, because he needs all the love and support and attaboys that he could possibly get, because I know he is tired of getting beat up on. Sir, you're an inspiration to a lot of people. You're an inspiration not only to me, because if you're surrounded by Democrats and you're surrounded by one of the states that's one of the worst, and you're trying to make it beautiful and get it back on track, I salute you. I mean, I really salute you. So I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out and coming on the show, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
I knew he
Appreciate
was
it.
gonna do it. I knew he was gonna do it. I just knew it. All right, everybody. That is New Mexico State Senator Jay Block. And I just wanted to say thank y'all. It's like me and Amy said, girl, I didn't even get up. Me either. But we're back now. So y'all make sure y'all get over there and support him. Our party, our Republicans, their legislators, the senators, the federal senators, state federal representatives, they need your attaboys. They need to know that you're paying attention, and they need your support. So everybody, this is the end of the Real News with Lucretia Hughes and Dave and Jay, Senator Jay Block. Y'all have a blessed night. All right, Dave.
Uh, uh. Here we go. She's on 5 to 7, 9 to 10 p.m. Fallback Productions. Talks about topics of the day and loves her country, the U.S. of A. Got her Get Right rally on tax day. Got family country Trump is her thing. She don't know the songs, gives Dave a hard time. Don't worry, it's fine. He's still her Valentine. Keeps us in the loop. Don't you know? Sit back and enjoy the Lucretia Hughes Show.
Are you a voting member of the NRA? My name is Lucretia Hughes NRA. I will never compromise my beliefs in God, family, our country, and my Second Amendment. I am running for the board of directors of the NRA, and I would appreciate your vote.